Trump will need Democratic votes in the House and Senate to avoid a government shutdown on March 14th. Some in the rank and file are agitating for a showdown. As Congressman Jim McGovern told us, quote, "We're not a cheap date." But House and Senate Democratic leaders are being far more cautious about a possible shutdown. Just take Hakeem Jeffries on Friday.
I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
But Senator Chris Murphy told me Democrats cannot waste any time in battling back against Trump.
Listen, I think there's no harm in Democrats raising alarms every single day. I do not believe in this theory that we should sit in the bushes and wait for some moment down the line when things get really, really bad. They're bad right now.
No, I personally am not against the Democrats forcing a government shutdown to get some concessions that we need, whether it be getting Elon Musk out of here or funding that the public needs. I mean, what are the other options? Just allow Donald Trump to do whatever he wants? Just allow Republicans to do whatever they want? Oh, we want to keep up with decorum and we don't want to ruffle any feathers. It's too late for that. Y'all just lost to the biggest buffoon that this country has ever seen for the second time. And you're afraid of a government shutdown? No. Otherwise, these people just get to do whatever they want.
There are two strategies that we have in terms of the Senate and in terms of the House. I'm going to start with the House. The House has 435 members, but the Republicans won the majority, but that majority is very, very slim right now. I think it's about 4. I believe it's a majority of about 4. Even with 4 Republicans making the difference between a Democratic House and a Republican majority House, Donald Trump still decided to appoint several of them to his administration, which has dramatically reduced temporarily the Republican majority, the voting majority in the House. Those people that he appointed are tried to appoint Matt Gaetz, but Matt Gaetz resigned when he was named, when Donald Trump was going to appoint him, and then the Senate blocked it. But still, there's a vacancy in Matt Gaetz's seat, there's a vacancy in Representative Waltz's seat, and there's a vacancy here in New York with Elise Stefanik's seat. 2 of those seats, Waltz and Gaetz, are in the state of Florida. And they are strolling their way to a special election. Now, that special election, I believe, is happening on April 1st in the state of Florida. We need to have a show of elevated numbers. We should have a show of elevated numbers in those 2 special elections. Now, people are going to say, oh, she's sending you on a wild goose chase. These are strongly Republican districts, but Washington and decision makers often look at the margins of these results to try to glean how people are feeling in this time. And first and foremost, the level of breakneck speed and not just speed, the level of just breaking that this administration and that Elon Musk is doing right now does have the power to transcend party. It does have the power to transcend party. And if a historically 30 plus Republican seat, if a seat that normally goes to Republicans by 20 points or 30 points, then goes to Republic, even if they still win, but if it goes down to 10 points, they know that they are in deep trouble. And why does that matter? Because a lot of these people only respond to one thing, which is whether they can hold on to power or not. And one of the reasons we're in this situation is because a lot of Republicans were more afraid of a primary election, losing a primary election, than they were in actually advocating for their people. And if you want evidence for that, just know that these Medicaid cuts that they're going for are actually going to affect rural Americans some of the most. Some of the places that vote the reddest stand to be hurt the most by what Republicans are trying to do. And so understand, we're talking about rural hospital closures, we're talking about all sorts of infrastructure, any of the basic services that a lot of rural communities who are already underserved, all these communities that are already underserved. So I'm not saying that getting in the game with these is going 100% to change the outcome. But it may, because we are in an unprecedented time. An unprecedented time can mean, of course, many bad things happen, but it can also mean that unpredictable things can happen, and unpredictable things can often go our way. I was elected in the first Trump administration, and nobody ever thought that I had a prayer in order to win. I was a waitress. I was challenging the head of a political machine who was supposed to be the next Speaker of the House. They spent $3 million against me while I was wiping down tables. And we won. Why? Because an unpredictable window has opened. Do not comply in advance. You try anyway. We try, and they want to flood the zone, we can flood the zone with people. So those April 1st special elections, you can take a look at those. But importantly, in New York, a Elise Stefanik's seat is open. And, those Florida seats, we can start mobilizing there. We'll start exercising our organizing muscle there. But we're doing that in order to build the larger infrastructure and power that we need. Elise Stefanik's seat is going to be open, and there's going to be more time. That special election is not happening on April 1st. And so what that means is that New Yorkers, we can focus on the special election for Elise Stefanik's seat, and we can go for it, okay? We can go for it. We need to try. I'm talking about this time is crazy. We need to jiggle every damn door handle in this place to see what opens up. I don't want to hear, oh, we can't do that. Oh, that's impossible. That's called consenting in advance. So when your mind says it's all over, like we might as well, no. You are consenting in advance. Do not consent in advance. Do not be discouraged in temporary defeats. We keep going anyway. Do it anyway. When we are relentless, they will fatigue. They will fatigue. They can only hold this up for so long. Draw them out. Draw them out. Okay? So we can mobilize electorally. We can mobilize in community organizing, whatever your calling is. Some people don't like electoral organizing. Then I want you to be running a Know Your Rights training. Or I want you to be sending out palm cards. Or I want you to be Googling your own rights, depending on your energy level. But electorally, we need to go get them, okay? These special elections are opportunities. And I'm not just talking about federally. It is time for us to kick up state legislatures, okay? Iowa just had a special election. That district was supposed to be Republican plus 20-something, and they lost it. They lost it. This was supposed to be a community. It went 20 or 30. It went double digits to Trump. They lost the special. Do not say things are impossible in this time.
I totally agree with AOC's message that the public really needs to do more organizing so that we can take the power back into our own hands. At the end of the day, despite all the corruption, despite all the oligarchical moves that people like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg are making, at the end of the day, the people who are in office are there because the public either votes for them or chooses to just not really care, not participate. Because what difference does it really make? But that's just not true. That's just not the way that democracies work. And while we still have any type of democracy left here in the country, we have to organize from the federal level all the way down to your city council. Your city council members can have dramatic impacts right on your backyard in the communities that we all live in. We have to stop thinking that every 4 years is when we need to vote and that, somebody's just going to come save us. Somebody's just going to drop in and make all the changes while we, just get to stay on TikTok and eat our hot dogs and our American cheeseburgers and not really give a damn. No. That's not what time it is.